Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Dan from Owasso PC and Electronics again. I'm going to do a little different repair today. Haven't really done much of a repair video in a while, so I'm going to do one. I know there's probably 1,000 of these, but everybody's got their own way of doing things. So today I'm going to do a new screen on a Galaxy S7. This one's damaged down here, only down here in the corner. And I just wanted to say if you do this carefully, and I probably will screw this up, but there's a company that I order screens from for all of my repairs, Mobile Centrics, and I'll put the link down there in the description. But they have an LCD buyback program, so if you can get this off here without destroying it, they'll actually give you a $30 credit for this. And if you do a volume bunch of repairs like I do, that $30 credit from this S7, that would pay for me to do, the next 3 almost iPhone screens at their prices. So definitely check out that link. They've got that LCD buyback program, but that's if you can get this off without destroying it. So I'm going to try that with this video. All right, let me just readjust. Bam. I've already preheated that guy. So let's see if we can do this. For anybody that doesn't have one of these screen separators, I bought this on eBay a couple years ago, and I think it cost me like $75. You can adjust your temperatures and all that fun stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and set this on here to heat up that adhesive, and I'm really hoping that I can do this without getting interrupted from a customer walking in, but we'll see. So we're going to heat that up, and I'll try to get that back glass off, and then we'll go through the steps, I guess. So we'll just wait a second. While that's heating up, I want to show you another trick that you might not be familiar with from other videos, but these are like your best friend. If you buy a brand new deck of these, don't go for the dollar store brand because you want them to be a little bit thicker, but that thick cardstock can be these things can be your best friend when doing different screens, especially the back glass starting at the Galaxy S6. If you can get a razor blade under there just a little tiny bit, and then remove the blade and stick that card in there, the card is not thick, and you'll be a lot less likely to break through that glass. So definitely look for doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll be off camera for just a second, but I'm going to try to get this blade in right here. You see how it's just barely in there? So it's just barely sticking, and then follow through, and it can be kind of a pain, but if you can follow through with one of these playing cards, take the razor blade back out, and sometimes you gotta finagle it a few times. Today's gonna be one of those days. Don't go too far with the razor blade, and if you gotta loosen it up just a little bit. And once you've destroyed a corner on one of those cards, just go ahead and grab another one. You get a brand new box of cards for $2 at Walmart for a decent brand, so it's gonna save you a lot in the long run. Once you start getting some of this way, you might have to keep adding heat. And on this phone, there's an edge along the back, so sometimes you kind of have to roll like this. And since we're salvaging the LCD, or trying, you don't want to get the LCD too hot, but we're not working on that side quite yet. And actually for 93, that temperature is actually pretty appropriate for this type of screen. I've never had one scorch on me. Of course, I've never just left one to sit there, so. Go, and I'll just keep working around that corner there. The other reason not to go too far with the razor blade is I've seen people try to go all the way around, and I've seen several people cut right through the wireless charging mats by using a razor blade, so don't do that. Some of these use this absolutely ridiculous adhesive, and if you get something like this going on, this can help you a lot. If you can just pull this right on out of here. Try another card. Once you've got some pressure around, you can start adding pressure with your hand like this, but just be kind of careful. Look at that. It pretty much will come right off after that. I don't know how I managed to tear that card. Okay, and there we have it. That's off. And we did not damage the wireless charge mat. So, we'll leave that on actually. So, I got a few different screws to remove, and I'm trying to stay on camera. You guys, I can't see the camera from where I'm working. I'm in the middle of a big remodel here in my shop, as I've talked about in some of my other videos. So I don't have a studio area in here. I am working on that, and it should come in the next, it's probably going to be a month or two, to be honest. After that point, I'll be set up significantly better for this. Usually I start one of these videos, I've got all my tools around. I forgot to grab a spudger. I'm probably going to need that. So if I go silent for a minute, I've gone to look for that. So far, so good, right? Okay, I've already taken this screw out. So at this point, starting at the top, you should be able to pop. Don't cut this plastic. Use a spudger tool or something. I'd just go with what's handy. Take that screw right out of there. Alright, fine. And then there's number 3. So that's out. Then, so there's kind of a tricky part here that sometimes I forget, so since we're doing this way today, and that is, there's a lever right inside of here if you look closely enough, or if you have a SIM card key, just make sure you pop out the SIM card. So, pop that out. then we have to take out this connector, the battery connector. This is the LCD panel connector. There's this one here. You also have to take off this white coaxial, and the same with this red one. These both have to come off. These can be peeled back down here. At that point, you can... I really should have grabbed my spudger. There we go. Oh, I missed. You need to disconnect this button down here. That's for the power button. And probably we'll unplug like the speaker. I don't think we really need to, but we're going to. Okay, so I took the logic board out and the camera came with it, so I'm gonna put the camera right here where that goes. We're getting down to nothing now, so now it's time to start working on the screen. I guess I'm gonna pop the battery out actually too, and the battery you can't really apply a whole lot of heat to. For the battery, I will need the spudger, so while that heats, I'm just gonna grab that. It's on my other counter. So that spudger tool I keep talking about looks just like this. They've got all those plastic blue ones that come in those kits from a lot of Amazon sellers. Don't use those, they're garbage. Some of these guys will say don't use metal ones. Those people probably don't do this all day, every day like I do. So the metal ones are literally like $1.50 for a 2-pack from China. And they're super worth having around. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so pop this battery off just like that. Once you've had that little bit of heat, that adhesive comes right off. Okay, now here's the tricky part, is going to be managing to get this screen out of here without cracking it. Now normally at this point, if it's toast and you don't plan on being able to reuse this, you can just pop this out any way you want. You can throw it on here, you can let it get nice and hot. Do the same thing with a razor blade, start in a corner, work your way off. Sometimes it'll come off in 2 layers where you get the outer glass off and not the LCD itself. At that point you can peel it off like a sticker. But if you're trying to salvage it, you totally don't want to do that. So let's see if I've got the patience today. I haven't really had any coffee yet. Oh, and the other thing is too, down here, you don't want to damage those buttons on the left and right, so super duper be careful down there, but we're starting up here today. And it's already, right. So, I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually gone under the glass, but above the coloring, and that's already not what I wanted. It's not destroyed at this point, but that's super not what I wanted. Okay, this is what I wanted, is to get up under that screen in a way that doesn't damage that cable.